Yes, Trump says that he will impose tariffs ranging from 25 to 100% on several countries when he gets into office.
What if your favorite Dollar Tree finds just disappeared? From kitchen staples to holiday decor, a wave of new tariffs could quietly wipe out some of the store's most popular items in 2025. And while tariffs might sound like a distant political term, all it really means is this: the government charges extra taxes on things coming in from other countries. And when that happens, the cost to make these items goes up, sometimes more than you'd think. Here are 7 Dollar Tree products that might not survive, and why their days on the shelf could be numbered. Imagine walking into Dollar Tree a week before your favorite holiday, and the shelves are bursting with color. Tiny pumpkins in October, glittery hearts in February, snowmen in scarves in December. You grab a handful without thinking. A few bucks later, your home feels festive, cozy, alive. For a lot of families, that's become tradition. Not big spending, just little things that make the season feel like something. That tradition, however, it might not last much longer. Although these are made in giant factories overseas at an alarmingly high speed for very low cost and easy to sell, they're not safe from the tightening grip of tariffs. But even the lowest cost items can't escape rising import fees. And when prices go up, even just a little, it's enough to knock them out of Dollar Tree's strict $1.25 model. When costs rise, there's no wiggle room. Dollar Tree can't raise the price. They just stop carrying the product and it quietly disappears. Picture this. It's your daughter's birthday party, and the decorations you always grab last minute just aren't there. Or you promised to help decorate a family dinner, and now the shelves are half empty. Next year, when you go looking for those same decorations and they're not there, it won't be because you were late. It'll be because they didn't make it through the system. Plastic storage containers are the quiet heroes of every kitchen. They help us save leftovers, pack a lunch, or keep the fridge from turning into chaos. We all know the feeling, standing in the kitchen, holding half a sandwich or a little bit of pasta and reaching for a plastic container that always seems to be there. They're in almost every home. And at Dollar Tree, they've always done the job for just $1.25. But soon, they could be one of the first things to go. Most of these containers are made in giant factories overseas, especially in China, where they're produced fast and shipped in bulk. That's the only reason they can be sold so cheaply. On the back end, they might only cost 40 cents to make and deliver. But with new tariffs, those costs are rising. A 40-cent item could jump to 50. It may not seem like much, just a dime. But in the world of tight margins, that's enough to break the whole system. Add in the cost of shipping, storage, and getting it onto store shelves, and suddenly, Dollar Tree can't make money on it anymore. They can't raise prices to fix that either, because it's part of their strict policy. Most items have to stay at $1.25, no exceptions. That kind of limit leaves no room when costs start creeping up. And lately, prices have shown no sign of slowing down. Back in 2018, the US added tariffs on everyday goods, like plastic toys and kitchen tools. It was a government decision, but regular people were the ones who paid the price. No one talked about it, but everyone felt it, having to cut back and make sacrifices just to save what they could. Now that same pressure is coming back. Only this time, it's aiming straight at the things we thought we'd never lose. If you've made it this far, you're probably starting to see just how many everyday items could quietly slip away. If this is hitting home, or you've noticed something missing from your local Dollar Tree already, consider subscribing. We're breaking down the small changes that affect real people in real ways, and there's more coming you won't want to miss. Picture this. You drop a mug. Not just any mug, but the one you always reach for. It hits the floor, breaks, and now your morning starts with a small, unexpected hassle. You weren't planning on replacing anything, but you head to Dollar Tree, grab a new one, maybe even a backup, just in case. It's quick, affordable, easy. One less thing to worry about. For a lot of us, that's been the routine. Not a big decision, just a small fix that keeps the day on track. But even that kind of convenience might not be around much longer. According to US trade data, nearly 60% of ceramic tableware imported into the US comes from China, with India close behind. These items, simple dishes, everyday mugs, are produced in bulk, packed into shipping containers, and sent across the world at a cost low enough to hit Dollar Tree's signature $1.25 price point. The average wholesale cost of a ceramic mug or plate from overseas is often between 50 and 65 cents. That leaves just enough margin for shipping, stocking, and selling, but not enough to handle sudden price hikes. These products are heavy, fragile, and expensive to ship, and when the cost of bringing them into the US goes up, there's no room to adjust. When you're working with razor-thin margins like Dollar Tree does, it doesn't take much to tip the scale. A few extra cents here or there, and suddenly, a product that used to make sense just isn't worth carrying anymore. One day, you might walk into Dollar Tree and notice the mug section looking a little emptier. Don't be surprised. It's not a design choice. It's just another quiet goodbye to something that used to be simple. You've probably been here before. The kitchen feels a little dimmer. The hallway light starts to flicker, and then one bulb finally gives out. You don't panic. You don't plan for it. You just replace it. And if you're like millions of people, that means heading to Dollar Tree and picking up a new LED bulb for cheap. It's one of those small conveniences we've come to count on. Cheap, easy, always there. Still, that everyday fix might not be around much longer, and most people won't see it coming. An LED bulb looks simple, but inside is a mini assembly of parts, casings, drivers, diodes, tiny chips. Most of those parts are made overseas, built fast, shipped cheap, and priced just right to keep it under $1.25. Most shoppers don't think twice about the price. They just know it's always been affordable. But when an item quietly goes missing from the shelf, they notice. They wonder why it's gone. And for something as basic as a light bulb, the answer is often simple. It just got too expensive to keep around. New trade policies are starting to push costs higher, especially for imported goods. Even a small increase in what it takes to bring them in can be enough to throw off the balance. And at Dollar Tree, that kind of shift can mean the difference between staying in stock or getting phased out. Think about your own kitchen for a second. There's probably a drawer full of tools you don't think about until you need one. The peeler that helps you prep dinner, the tongs that keep your hands out of hot oil, the egg separator that felt like a good idea at the time. At Dollar Tree, these little tools are everywhere. Just $1.25, easy to grab, and surprisingly reliable. They're the kind of everyday helpers you toss in your basket without a second thought. And they've made cooking feel a little simpler in millions of homes. But that kind of convenience only works as long as production stays cheap. These tools are affordable because they're made fast and with low-cost materials. But when the price of plastic, steel, or aluminum climbs and new tariffs add even more pressure, that thin balance starts to fall apart. Suddenly, even the simplest item can cost too much to carry. Since prices can't be raised, They adapt the catalog, going line by line, removing products that simply cost too much to keep. If a kitchen tool no longer fits the pricing model, it is simply removed. The cost of making, shipping, or importing climbed just high enough to push it off the shelf. And at Dollar Tree, when the numbers don't work, the product doesn't come back. There's something about the start of a new school year. The rush, the lists, the quiet pressure to get everything ready. You check off notebooks, folders, pens, glue sticks. You're trying to stretch the budget, make it all work. And somehow, Dollar Tree always helps you do it. One stop, a few dollars, and the backpack starts to feel complete. For years, it's been the perfect fix. You walk down one aisle and pick up everything you need. Supplies that get the job done, all for just $1.25. It's not exciting, but it works. And for a lot of families, it's been the difference between being ready and getting by. Dollar Tree sources them from large-scale suppliers that specialize in keeping costs low, shipping huge volumes at once to fill stores across the country. They're made fast, moved in bulk, and stocked with just enough margin to make the $1.25 price point work. The process is efficient, but fragile. But now, tariffs are closing in like a roaring lion. Loud, fast, and impossible to ignore. They're shaking up a system that only works when everything stays perfectly balanced. And when the numbers no longer work, the product quietly disappears from the plan. You've seen them in the checkout aisle. Little dinosaurs, stretchy figures, tiny dolls in plastic bags. They're the kind of toys you toss into the cart without a second thought. A reward for good behavior. A quick surprise to brighten a long car ride. Not expensive, not essential, but somehow they matter. At Dollar Tree, they're simple, a little bit silly, and just enough to make a child smile. For kids, they spark instant joy. For parents, they're a small gesture that says, "I see you," or "You did great today," without ever needing the words. Most of those toys are made in large factories overseas, especially in China, where plastic is molded, painted, and packed by the thousands. Dollar Tree works with suppliers that move huge shipments at a time to keep shelves stocked and prices low. It's a system that relies on speed, volume, and predictability. And for years, it's made those little moments possible. But things are changing. New trade policies are tightening the rules, and the global flow that once kept these toys moving smoothly is starting to slow down. Shipping is more complicated. Imports face more hurdles. And behind every small delay or added fee, it's the everyday shopper who ends up feeling it. And when your kid reaches for that same little figure they've always played with before going to the checkout, only to find it missing, it won't be because no one wanted it. It'll be because something so small became just expensive enough to fall off the shelf. We've all had those little go-to items, the ones we grabbed without thinking, until one day they were just gone. Tell us in the comments, what would you miss the most if it didn't come back?